Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw. On this episode, we're talking AEW Dynamite with the GFY heard around the world. Edge confronts Christian. Not having it. And with three very effective words.
Oh, devastating words. Devastating.
Shuts down any idea of Edge and Christian teaming up for now. Looks like instead we're getting a feud next week. Edge's in-ring debut will be against Luchasaurus, still aligned with Christian, of course. He's a dinosaur, pal. So yeah, that's what went down, and that was the main thing last night.
That was all that happened on Dynamite review over.
Well, yeah, it's funny because the last couple of weeks, dude, I mean, at least, last week as well, really good final segment that got people talking, interesting stuff. I mean, they, to a degree, advanced the story of like, oh, who beat up Jay White. They don't believe that it wasn't MJF. MJF proclaims as innocent. Jay White stole MJF's title, at least for the segment. And then this week, another really good segment with Edge. His promo was not too long. They did have an overrun, but it didn't start until 7 till or so. Yeah. And a really, because Christian's the best thing going in AEW right now.
Absolutely.
He really is. But beyond that, we got Will Hobbs joining the Callis family. I don't know if I'm huge on that, but
it's an upgrade from QTV, man.
It is an upgrade from QTV, but it's a downgrade from a feud with Miro and the potential of that continuing, in my opinion. Anyways.
I understand he's probably not going to win any matches against Chris Jericho or Kenny Omega, but feuding with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega is a decent spot to be in.
Yeah, it all depends. I think it's more like being aligned with Don Callis is a pretty good spot to be in. He's they're giving that story tons of time. Yeah. That's true. Beyond that, I don't know, man. We can talk about the positives first because I know people are like, you guys are always down on AEW, but it kind of feels like not a whole ton happened last night. Like the matches were kind of like so. I don't know.
Apart from the international title bout to open the show, the matches were all kind of short. I did enjoy Sky Blue versus Tony Storm.
Oh, that was a huge standout. You're absolutely right. I forgot about that.
All the Tony Storm stuff, the Portrait of a Star, where she made the revelation she's timeless, and how she implemented that new kind of aspect of her gimmick in her match with the smeared makeup, and then just in terms of her approach to her matches is a little different. And there was more of kind of the references to 50s actresses with, she says, I'm ready for my close-up, and the camera zooms in.
They gave her a straight-up close-up spot, and that's going to be a regular thing. That was awesome. That was great.
And I like that she was the one that threw it to the commercial break during her match.
Yes, that was very clever.
Really good, clever stuff. A lot to like about basically everything of what Tony Storm's doing now is great.
It is. It really is, yeah.
A highlight of any show she's on. Let's talk about the Edge Christian stuff, because I think that's what a lot of people are talking about, specifically the GFY. But so often when we have reunion stories, it's either, hey, they get back together or they feud. I felt like the approach to this was pretty smart in that Edge stated, up front, I'm here to get back together with Christian. So we can finish our careers together. Yeah. And yes, they're going to feud. It feels like a bump in the road, because when that moment comes, now that they set it up like this, when the moment comes when they do reunite, it's going to, A, there's going to be a build to it. B, it's going to feel all that more special, because this is Edge's stated goal, or Adam Copeland, sorry, to being here.
Bro, I'm going to call him Edge. I don't care. Eventually I'll get around to call him Adam Copeland, but I'm going to call him Edge for now.
And I thought the setup of that was really well done.
Yeah.
Christian coming out and listening to all the Edge had to say and seemingly really considering it, giving him that huge hug and just telling him to go fuck himself.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an expertly done segment. You and I had bitched about Edge's promos in WWE, how they were kind of aimless. And honestly, what he needed is just a good story that was interesting and didn't rely on him being, I'm bad guy and I'm going to run down your sports team. Or the opposite of that, I'm on borrowed time. I'm old, and so I want to get in as much as I can before I'm not here anymore. Well, Edge seemingly says he wants to be there for 10 years. You know, I mean, he said that in the intro. He said he wants to be there for a long time. And so it's not a matter of, oh, I'm just here. You know, I know his thing is, you know, I want to finish my career with you together. But it is something different and interesting. And we talked about how just a change of landscape, a change of scenery with fresh faces. He even mentioned this in his promo, named off a ton of names, old and new, of people that he had not wrestled and their dream matches. And then, of course, you've got the history. And there's one thing, there is one thing at the very least that AEW does very well, and they do their damnedest to honor the history of their wrestlers. And obviously sometimes that can be difficult to do given that WWE like owns so much of that history, but they have no problems referencing WWE. They pay homage to history. And of course, Edge and Christian have such tremendous history, and they are both still very relevant wrestlers today. Christian is probably the most relevant wrestler that AEW has. And it's awesome to see. And so the fact that he had something so focused and so specific to promo on was technically speaking, he's a great promo. When he has good material, man, people will pay attention.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was a really well done segment, and you know, it sets up Adam Copeland's stories for his overarching story, his primary story in AEW for probably as long as he's there.
Yeah,
because is the reunion happening now? No. Is it going to happen at some point? Absolutely. Christian's going to have his continuous tremendous heel run whenever they. It's going to come a point, anyways, with Christian where, considering how good work he's doing on a regular basis, the crowd's going to start to embrace him if they haven't already.
Oh, they firmly have, and that point is going to come. It depends. I mean, he's so good. He's so good in this role. It's going to be really difficult to understand this role going up against like a pure heel, like a Swerve, you know? Although Swerve's got a match next week with Bryan Danielson for #1 contendership to the TNT title. I kind of feel like Danielson's probably going to win that.
Yeah, I feel like Hangman's probably going to cost Swerve that match.
I would think so. Although, like, I don't know, because like Hangman, on one hand, it seemed, you know, he literally said in his promo last night in the video package, I'm back to square one. Yeah. He did obviously reference Swerve quite a bit, but it was kind of unclear as to whether or not
what the road forward was for him.
He's actually done with them for now, if they're going to revisit that down the line. I think if Swerve loses, it'll be because of some shenanigans. I think they're trying to protect him.
Absolutely.
But Danielson's sort of the now. I don't know how that's all going to play out. If Danielson wins, you know, Christian has plenty of people around him but are they going to have Danielson lose that match then, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know. There's a number of ways they could play that. It's going to be a phenomenal match if they actually let the damn thing play out.
Oh, I know. I mean, Swerve versus Danielson is going to be phenomenal, and then the winner of that match against Christian is going to be great too. I mean, Christian and Swerve have history. They were in that casket match as teammates against Sting and Darby. Came out the losing end of that one. So, I mean, that could be a point of contention between them as well.
Yeah. It's funny because some people in our Twitch chat, Maggie and who is this? Joe says, has Edge ever had any interaction with Dean Ambrose in WWE? So that is the funny thing, is that like when he was naming a lot of these names, I was like, wait a second. Ambrose wasn't there by the time Edge showed up.
Nope.
Like, and a lot of those
Edge
names
came back, he was already gone.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, those names, even though some of them sound like it's weird, but Edge really hasn't been back. I mean, I guess it's been like 4 years now, but but yeah, lots happened in that 4 years, as we saw.
And he was out anniversary of Dynamite. 9 years. There's 9 years he was on the shelf.
Time. Yeah. I think it was 9.
So like almost a third of his WWE career, he was out injured.
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, fantastic segment. Really interested in how this is going to proceed in the short term, and then of course how they get back around to the eventual reunion. I mean,
let's talk about that.
Edge going to be the person who's going to take on Christian for that TNT title at Full Gear? Is Christian going to drop the title before then?
Is Edge going to drop this now? Is he going to take this? Because you know how I feel about that. Somebody says, hey, Steve, go F yourself. Fine. I'm happy doing that. There's a bathroom over there. Oh, man.
Oh, dear.
Sorry. I like making you uncomfortable sometimes. It's fun. If somebody tells that to me, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going. I'm not going to bother that person again. You know, like what I say, like the Dark Order, Hangman clearly is like, look, guys, I've got something else going on here. And they're like, do you think Edge is going to go fuck himself?
No. I mean, he kind of can't because he's facing Luchasaurus next week on Dynamite, and Luchasaurus is like Christian's like #1 guy.
Right. Yeah.
So it's at least short term, even if Edge wanted to remove himself from that situation, he can't because there's a match against somebody who's like Christian's top ally.
Let me ask you this. Did they sort of like wonk that a little bit? Like they announce. So Edge's thing. Okay. So Edge shows up. He prevents Christian from basically killing Sting. Right.
Yeah.
They immediately sign a match, Edge versus Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
Instead of Edge showing up first, telling Christian, hey, man, you know, this is why I did what I did, but I still want to be cool with you. Let's do this thing. But they had announced the match with Luchasaurus already.
Yeah, because they want to sell tickets for the October 10th show.
Right, but a Luchasaurus match.
But Edge is in it.
Right, they could have said Edge is going to make his in-ring debut, but who is he?
Yeah, but people have thought, it's against, I don't know, one of the Iron Savages guys. That's a minute and a half match. No disrespect, Iron Savages are wildly entertaining, but they're booked as losing wrestlers.
I don't know if you can get out of that one, man. No disrespect.
They're booked as losing wrestlers. It's not on them. That's on creative. So you want to set up a match that's got some value to the story being told. I get it. I mean, I agree with you. There should be a situation where Edge takes the GFY from Christian, and Christian's like, "Here, I'm gonna show you. You can go fuck yourself. Now, take on this guy."
Yeah, I kind of feel like that would have been kind of.
They wanted those couple extra days where they could sell tickets. So for
all right.
independence, that's the only reason I can think of.
No, business wise, you're probably right. They need to announce something. They're like, hey, this is going to be the thing. You're absolutely right. From a story perspective, though, I was like, shouldn't they? It's like you already have a match against this guy. But yeah, I know. I thought it was a great segment, and I just don't know what the next step for Edge is to try to convince Christian. Is he going to try to keep him on the straight and narrow? Like whenever they try to do shenanigans, is Edge going to come out and ruin their game a little bit?
I suppose it's a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like
a letter to him. Is he going to write a letter?
Maybe. Firmly worded letter.
Yeah. Well, diplomatically worded letter anyway.
But firm. Not stern, but firm.
Okay. Yeah. Assertive,
not
aggressive.
No finger wagging involved. Just a firmly worded letter, diplomatic but firm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I would be surprised if they don't have a match at Full Gear, whether Christian's still TNT champion at that juncture or not. If it ends up Danielson versus Christian for that TNT title, I could see a wild overbooked finish of that match that sees Danielson hit a knee plus and become the TNT champ. And then you have Danielson with the TNT title, and you have Mox because he's facing Phoenix next week for the International Championship. He's probably getting that back because they're already doing like
getting that thing
Phoenix's banged up angle with him.
Yeah, was that a work last night? Do we know? Well, Phoenix.
I think so because apparently when he was out of that tag match at Wrestle Dream early, that was a work too. I think they're just doing Phoenix's banged up angle so that when Mox beats him, so soon after Phoenix winning the title, it's like, well, Phoenix was hurt. That's why. So he's had
like 2 matches since then. He's already banged up.
I know.
Man. Let's talk about MJF and the Bullet Club, the Bang Bang Gang.
Bang Bang Gang.
So last night they say, hey, it was the 3 of them without Jay White. It was Juice and the Guns.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't believe anything you're saying. So that leads to MJF coming out. He gets attacked from behind by Jay White. Big Blade Runner for him. Jay White grabs his title. So he's got the numbers game against him because Cole is out.
Yeah.
Later on, and I thought this was very clever, you had a segment where the Acclaimed were in the trainer's room while MJF was in there. Well, as anybody who pays attention to their social media knows, Max Caster is always hounding MJF on social media, saying he's my boyfriend, et cetera, et cetera. And so during the segment, like one of the trainers is like sort of rubbing Max's,
massaging his shoulders,
massaging him. And so Caster comes and he sort of backs him up and he starts massaging him himself. MJF looks over. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, this is stalker shit. Stop doing that. Stop leaving letters in my suitcase. And Caster says, "You're great. You're king," and then goes.
He says, "Scissor me." And MJF's like, "No, I'm not going to scissor you."
MJF's probably trying not to laugh. Caster can't help but giggle.
Yeah,
scissor me. And is it gonna? Because this could be wildly entertaining, and the Acclaimed ain't doing shit right now.
Yeah, I know.
Is the Acclaimed gonna even up the numbers game for MJF against the Bang Bang Gang?
It could. That makes a lot of sense. They could. They definitely could.
Because there's still like, I don't know, a month and a half, or 5 weeks, whatever it is. Until
yeah, I like that they actually have the main event of the show actually booked and announced, and they can take the time to build towards it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good because we're so used to like the main event being announced, I don't know, like a couple weeks before the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In some cases. So yeah, it's entirely possible, and it would be. And someone mentioned here in chat before he started that if Max gets other friends apart from Adam Cole, so that can make Adam Cole jealous. Just ups the dynamic a bit. Where Cole right now is completely preoccupied with Roderick Strong. They're injured together, so like whether it's consciously or unconsciously, there's a bond there because and Roddy got him a scooter, to wheel around on while he's dealing with his broken ankle. And so while Cole is preoccupied with Roddy and the Kingdom, is MJF going to realize I need somebody here to help me, especially against Bang Bang Gang, because otherwise I'm outnumbered? It would make all the sense in the world if he were to recruit the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass to help him out in this instance. Yeah, that could be something.
And that'll present some significant, some significant story possibilities for Cole when he does return. I mean, it seems like he's getting like 2 surgeries.
Yeah,
I don't know how much they're going to keep him off of TV. Like, obviously he's not going to be, but given what we saw, like, they filmed that whole vignette with him on a scooter doing things. The guy, he relies so much on, I mean, look, he's a phenomenal wrestler, don't get me wrong, but he's the total package. He's got the charisma and the talking skills, and he's got the acting chops, as we saw in the vignette, both in silent film form and with audio last night. I thought it was, I'm curious to see if they actually keep him off TV for a big return moment, or if they're like, hey, Adam Cole, he'll bring eyes to the TV if we can use him, even with an injured leg. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. No. People have made use of themselves while injured or while recovering, rehabbing or whatever. So, yeah, interesting.
I mean, if it's a proven ratings draw, especially as it relates to his stuff with MJF, if he's available to be on TV and can handle the travel and stuff, it behooves them to AEW to use them when they can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Be interesting to see if they do. We got a super chat here from Trey Davis, who says, rock hard taint. That taint is rock hard, man.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Also, rock hard.
Before we continue on with our AEW Dynamite recap, I want to mention this weekend, of course, is the finale to our Week of Champions 2. Of course, we're going to be live on Saturday evening for WWE Fastlane. Right now, Donald Seaman is in the lead, but there are others just behind him who have a chance at getting their hands on Big Blue, or even, in the case of Maz 57, retaining Big Blue. So hopefully you guys will join us for that. If you want in on our monthly predictions challenges, granted right now, it's probably like the worst time to do this, but if you want a practice round, Fastlane's a great way to do that. If you want to make a statement and say, hey, look, I'm running perfect at Fastlane, so I'm coming for you guys next month.
November, there's a lot of shows. So
there's a lot of shows in November. So right now you can click on that join button on YouTube and become part of the Friendo Club that way, or you can go to patreon.com/Steven Larson. They had a bunch of updates to Patreon over the past 24 hours, and we're going to dig into and see how we can sort of, make that best value. But go to patreon.com/Steven Larson at $5 a month and up. You get access to bonus shows, which we're going to do one today, right? Is that the plan?
Yeah, we can do a bonus show today.
Okay. Because we've been sort of spotty on those lately. But you always get access to the question threads and the predictions challenges. So be sure to, if you want to help support Going in Raw, if you want to help support Friendo Club, check that out. Also coming up tomorrow, we've got our reactions to the Dave Meltzer star ratings for Wrestle Dream. Golly, Wrestle Dream feels like a month ago, and we're just now getting those star ratings.
What's the deal? Other star ratings.
Yeah, right? Like, hey, if you also want our star ratings, not just reacting to the other guys, Friendo Club Wrestling on the YouTube. It's our other YouTube channel where we have all sorts of great fun content over there as well, including that's the home to our star ratings, which, by the way, come out within 24 hours, sometimes 12 hours of the event itself. We don't wait a week like those other star ratings.
It's already been up for like 3 days.
I know, dude. They're right there. They're right there. Goodness gracious. Anyways. So yeah, let's go. We got a couple super chats here. Kareem Challenger says Christian Cage for Going in Raw Hall of Famer. So absolutely. Kareem here has his, he's got his vote. I know where you stand. I got a lot of thinking to do. He obviously, Larson, Christian Cage is making a play because this is his last year of eligibility for the Going in Raw Hall of Fame. What's that?
I said, he's got 1 year left. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you denied him twice already. So
this is the last year he's eligible. So we'll see. He's really making a play though. But the question is like, what am I going to put him in and then he's going to start coasting because he's already in the Hall of Fame? Likely scenario, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't think you should necessarily. The Hall of Fame is to honor someone's past work,
right,
and the work they're maybe doing now.
Right.
Don't worry about the future when it comes to the Hall of Fame. You worry about the entirety of their career and the highlights of it. What Christian's doing right now is the highlight of his career. It's the best work he's ever done. And how often can you say an athlete in any sport has their best work this deep into their career? It speaks to the talent, speaks to the professionalism, the creativity, the Hall of Fame wrestling mind that Christian has.
Right. Well, we'll see. I have to, here's the thing between you and I have to consult. I've got a brain trust I have to consult with, and it's just Maggie. It's just Maggie. Cause she's always been on the same page with me when it comes to Christian's Hall of Fame status.
I thought Maggie was coming around to Christian as a Hall of Famer.
Well, maybe I am too. I don't know. Look, that's what the consultation's about. It's not just a couple of dudes with the #1 dad mug here. This is very serious business, Larson.
Serious business to me too. My mind's been decided on this. I mean, I've been ahead of the curve on this for a number of years.
I feel like you didn't really think about it. And that's another thing that kind of bugs me is that you were in on this before he was good. Like he was just mid and you were like, yeah, Hall of Fame. Now he's good,
Now he's fantastic. So yeah, he's most surely deserving of a Hall of Fame spot. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyways, a lot of decisions.
Duckman's got a super chat here too. Says, see Britt Baker for how to use someone while they are still injured. She was one of my MVPs during the no crowd era. Yeah.
She was heavily featured back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But, one featured woman at a time, everybody. That's what they do there in AEW. Toni Storm really is fantastic, though.
Oh, she's great.
I'm ready for my close-up. She's doing this shit.
Oh, it was great. Like she vogues. So good.
So, yeah. So we're trying so hard, Larson, to get to 198,891 subs.
Correct.
And right now, hey, we've made a little bit of ground. We're at 198,159. Yesterday it was like 144 or some crap like that.
So we're 742 away.
Something like that. You're the math guy over here.
I don't have the numbers in front of me. If I could say definitively that's the count, but sure, go ahead.
We've got 427 people watching here on YouTube. If you're new, if you enjoy the banter, if you enjoy #1 dad mug right there, give us hit that subscribe button, the notify bell, and then the thumbs up as well. Really, really, really appreciate it. If you're listening to this in the audio realm, if you can hear my voice, hey, hit that, give us a review, rating, or a comment.
Indeed. And we got 434 people watching right now on YouTube. Every single one of you, hit that subscribe button that hasn't. Hit that like button. We would have, 434 likes, and that's great. More likes, the better. It's good for the video to get a bunch of likes. That's my understanding.
Much likes. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so Dynamite opened up with, because it's their 4-year anniversary, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, two guys who have been there since the beginning. Renee congratulated them, and Jericho said, "It's hard to believe it's been 4 years, Renee. In the very first Dynamite main event, it was Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega on opposite sides. And here, only days after the 33rd anniversary of Chris Jericho's wrestling debut, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho aligned to take out the Callis family. Tonight, on the 4-year anniversary, that's what I call an anniversary celebration." And then Edge steps in. He says, "Renee, it's so good to see you." And she starts geeking out a little bit. He says, "There should be Molson's and maple syrup flowing right now with all the Canada in here." He says, "I got to tell you, I'm extremely excited to be here for the 4-year anniversary." The funny thing about him is that, like, he's so WWE size.
Oh, I know.
He's so big compared to everybody in
I know.
AEW.
He's like an easy 6'3", 6'4". I know.
Yeah. He says, "I plan on being here not just for the 4-year anniversary, but for the 8th and the 12th. He says, "You name it, I'm here. Good luck tonight, Chris. Always good to see you." And then Kenny steps up, even though they've done a podcast together, said to Edge, "It's good to meet you. Gotta say, the other night you really had me on the edge of my seat. So I don't know what your future holds, but let me know if you need anything. It's good to meet you." They shake hands, and Copeland says, "Tonight I'm going to go out there with my mission statement." I'm thinking, oh, God, set aside 20 minutes here.
I know. He's going to have you might know when Jericho did the list of 1,004 moves. It's going to be like that. He's going to be reading from this giant manifesto that he wrote. Yes.
Right. But luckily, hey, maybe in a sign of things to come, it wasn't that extensive. He says, in the meantime, take out the Callis family because I still can't stand Dawn.
Seems to be a fairly universal sentiment.
Yeah,
no one really likes Don Callis.
Nobody likes that guy.
Then we had the international title bout. Nick Jackson challenging Ray Phoenix for said title. I don't think these two guys could put on a bad match.
No, they're just phenomenal athletes. They just know each other inside and out. It's just really good stuff. This is one of those move matches, and it's just really good.
There was a story though, because Nick Jackson accidentally kicked the ring post at one point early in the bout. So on occasion, Phoenix was working Nick Jackson's leg. In the end, though, Phoenix is looking for a Phoenix driver. Nick reverses that into a roll-up. Phoenix reverses that roll-up into a roll-up of his own to get the win. And then, like, Phoenix acts like he's been through like an hour-long Iron Man match. Like he can't even get to his feet because it's doing the Phoenix's beat-up storyline for him.
Yeah, he looks like he's been one of those industrial accidents. Did you see like the TikTok going around? It's like it was on Twitter too, and it was like I think if I read correctly, it came from China, and it was like an animated little computer animated video of like of like a variety of like workplace industrial accidents.
Interesting.
Nothing gory, but like if you saw it in real life, it would be.
It would be awful, yeah.
And like the caption the caption I saw was like, the sad thing is I'm pretty sure I've seen the actual videos from where these come from, and I'm like, I know that I've seen some of them from my Instagram feed. So yeah. Anyway,
that Instagram feed of yours is something else. So
it's a mess. It's a menace, dude. It really is.
You got to start a new one just so it's a clean slate. Not so much.
Yeah. No, dude, I have a burner account. That's a mess too. Yeah, just like that.
How did that happen?
Because I don't know, man. I see something and I'm like, oh, I want to see that, and then it just floods.
But switch the other account, so it's all to that. You have one account that's got all the messed up stuff, and one that's like happy and
the horrors.
You just want the horrors to surround you.
The horrors.
All right. So after that, we had Adam Cole, Roddy recap from last week, and then we find out what happened after that. Adam Cole visit to Roderick Strong's home.
Yeah.
The first time they ran this, there was basically no audio. I think it was the in-arena feed was coming through, so you could barely hear it.
I thought they were just, homaging friggin' Chaplin or something like that, man.
No, I guess not.
Film action.
There wasn't any cards in there to have some dialogue. So they reran it later with the audio. So what happens is that Cole's outside of Strong's house. Roddy opens the door and just yells, "Adam!" And Cole's like, "I'm right here." So Roddy says, "Come on in. I got something for you." So Cole gets in the house and he's like, "All right, what is it?" And Roderick unveils a scooter.
Oh, yeah.
That Cole can ride on now because he's got the broken leg. So they have a montage of them racing around Roderick Strong's house because Roddy's in the wheelchair, Cole on the scooter. Meanwhile, Taven's got this stuffed giraffe plush toy that he's petting on the couch.
Yeah. Looking for him and Bennett, they're like, they're not into this. They're like, well, this is what Roddy wants, but we've got our eyes on Cole. Yeah, exactly.
So Cole's like, "Yeah, that was fun. What's this emergency you needed me for, Roddy?" And Strong says, Oh, while you're here, I need you to move some furniture for me.
It's like, look at my leg. He's like,
why can't the Kingdom do it?
Yeah, why can't the Kingdom do it? And he's like, they don't know. I trust your interior design sense. And Taven says something like, by the way, the Kingdom are great in these. Like, I've really turned around. It's no longer like Honor No More where I like them ironically. I actually like them now.
Yeah.
And Taven says, yeah, look at the feng shui in this place, man. It's horrible.
Yeah. So then Cole's like, all right. And so, he's got the busted leg. He's on the scooter and he's trying to lift furniture and move it. So there's these shots of him straining to pick up the couch and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually he gets things done and he's like, are we good? And Roddy's like, yeah, this is awesome. It's so unique. And Cole says, all right, I'm happy I can help, but I got to go get surgery on my ankle. So I got to go. And he's about to leave. And of course, Roddy goes, Adam! Again. And says, seriously, I still need your help.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a shot where Cole's looking in a mirror and he's got Roddy and the Kingdom behind him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Artfully done. That shot.
Yeah, it was good. Adam! He's like, oh, what? God, that was funny.
Good stuff.
After that, we had Griff Garrison versus the returning Wardlow.
Hey, this is Griff Garrison's Dynamite debut in 2023.
That's not surprising. I have not seen that guy in forever.
No.
And I saw him on when I watched, because we're doing a count up for tomorrow because we got some stuff to do. And it's top 10 wrestlers who reinvented themselves.
After leaving WWE, yeah.
And so I was doing some research on Athena, and so I re-upped with Honor Club. So I watched I skimmed through the last episode of Ring of Honor, and Garrison was on it, and he's like trying to team up with, who's that dude who's in NXT? Cole Carter, is that his name?
Cole Carter, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's trying to team up with him, or they're trying to recruit him, and he was complaining about Brian Pillman having left. So I know he was on Ring of Honor.
All right. Yeah, I imagine he would be still wrestling, but yeah, he hasn't been on AEW television for a while.
It really is like the Dark Elevation. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not its own brand anymore.
It's developmental, pretty much.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, Wardlow's back. He destroys Griff. 5 power bombs later. Ref calls for the bell. Match is over.
Let me ask you this.
Wardlow leaves through the crowd.
He leaves through the crowd. He looked surly.
Yeah. No playing to the crowd, doing the powerbomb symphony, none of that.
Is this the best way to return Wardlow after being gone for so long? Like, I was hoping for, like, you saw, I mean, he hadn't even been gone, but Samoa Joe's vignette.
Oh, that was really good.
Right, it was really good, right? Wardlow could be a big deal.
Well, when was Wardlow at his best?
Well, he was with MJF.
And what did he not do a lot of then?
Talking. I'm not necessarily saying, and you're right, I'm not saying you sit him down like Samoa Joe. I'm not saying you do that. I'm just saying, like,
what they should do is replay the vignettes they ran to him before he even debuted. The parking lot.
Yeah. Back to square one. I'm here in a parking lot.
Don't redo it. Just run the same ones 4 years later.
Except, how about you do something new. How about this? His new gimmick is like, he's in the parking lots back to his roots, but it's like a Jackass style thing where he just goes around. Right, yeah. And like he gets in like a shopping cart and they like, push him and he goes like flying off it. Even better, how about this? He does like this prank shit where like there's, a hidden camera or whatever, and he goes up to like, some dude, like an older guy, and he like dumps his groceries out. And the guy's like, oh, who did that? And it's Wardlow. And he watched all these guys like back down.
Dun, 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 dun. Corona by the Minutemen play, huh?
Right. That's all I care. Yeah, exactly. Then he powerbombs some fool in the hood of a car.
There we go.
That actually sounds kind of amazing. I'll be honest.
He turns to camera and says, this one's called, I don't know, Powerbomb on the Hood. I don't know what you call it. Something like that. They always have names for segments. Yeah, something like that. All right, let's run with that then.
Good, let's do it.
Then we got a recap of Edgy Adam Copeland debuting at Wrestle Dream, and we got Don Callis interviewing. Callis says AEW's been shaken to its foundations by Sammy Guevara pitting Chris Jericho at Wrestle Dream, so much so that the Quack medical team here has deemed Sammy medically unfit to perform. Apparently, Ashley has concussion, which is evident from the match at Wrestle Dream.
That is not shocking at all.
No,
he was fucked up in that match, dude.
Yeah, he could barely stand up.
Oh, God. And he still took moves. That shit just...
I know. When it's that obvious, someone's got to step in.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Callis continues, and you would think this would cause me a problem, Renee. Here's what you got to know about the Callis family. Everybody's talking about it. There's no shortage of eager, able-bodied young male athletes that want to show their wares so they may one day be a part of this family. So in the recommendation of the great Will Ospreay, I've reached into the vault. I found a great young athlete named Kyle Fletcher. He'll be the partner of the Alpha tonight. But Kenny and Chris have a personal message for you before you get too excited about winning your battle. Just remember that battles are won and lost in war. No one remembers who wins the battle. They remember who wins the war. I'm going to win this one no matter what it takes.
True to a degree. When you do like trivia stuff on Tuesday nights like us, like they often ask questions about like actual battles. Sometimes they do that.
They do. Yeah.
So some people do have to remember battles if you want to do good at trivia.
You do. Yeah, you need to know
And on top of that, Don's been winning a lot of the battles lately.
He has.
So he should be taking a victory lap on that.
Absolutely.
Anyways.
Or maybe because he's been winning a lot of the battles lately, he's like, if I take an L tonight, just remember, I'm still ahead.
Oh, that's probably his point. I like that they're using Kyle Fletcher. Mark Davis apparently is injured as well.
Yeah. I mean, he said he snapped his wrist at WrestleDream and he was holding it, so I hope it's not broken. But
oh, shit. Yeah. Eesh. So after that, we had Kip Sabian, Butcher and the Blade versus the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. Guess who won this one?
Acclaimed and Daddy Ass.
You get points for that one. Yeah.
Oof. Wow. Yeah. That was a guess.
Right? You were sweating that one out, weren't you?
I wasn't sure for a moment.
It was a double down dare, man.
Didn't lose all my points.
There was one extended sequence where like the Blade and Daddy Ass were trying to figure out how to like get Daddy Ass thrown out of the ring.
Yeah.
And I think Daddy Ass was laughing through it. So
because he was supposed to go one way, but I think someone was in the way, and then Butcher was like, "All right, 90 degrees. No, we can't go that way." So we had to go the opposite side of the ring to throw him out. Yeah,
it was pretty silly.
It was pretty silly.
So Claim pick up the win here. After that, we had this terrific Toni Storm Portrait of a Star Part 3, once again with RJ City. She's like by the window freaking out or something, and he's like, So, you've been wrestling for over 14 years. And Storm throws a bunch of shit at him and says, "We didn't talk about time. Who cares? Let's talk about now. I'm here now." And RJ says, I'm sorry. I didn't know. And then Tony grabs him by the collar and says, "You don't know anything. You know what it's like to live this life. You don't know what it's like to be in the spotlight, and everyone tries to take it away from you. All the friends you came up with, it just wither away into pathetic husks of themselves, and pray you don't end up the same. I lie awake at night wondering if I have it, or am I just lucky? Was every match, every pay-per-view just a roll of the dice, and soon it'll all be taken away? That's what you don't know. You can't know. You won't know." And RJ says, "You're not even old." And she says, "Oh, yes, I'm timeless. I'm timeless. I'm timeless." And so it gets Timeless Toni Storm debuting tonight.
Yeah. It was so good.
Oh, it's so good, man.
It's so good. Then we had a Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr. video package. I think both these interviews were up. These are post WrestleDream, but I think they're up on AEW's YouTube or on their socials. And much
they released an extended version of the Toni Storm bit, according to Maggie here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I'm going to watch that later.
I saw that was there. Haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So Danielson pretty much says, I did knock Zack Sabre Jr. out to beat him. And that makes me question whether I actually am the best technical wrestler in the world. And he has Zack Sabre Jr. say, "You didn't tap me out. You're not. You had to use a strike to beat me. You're not best technical wrestler in the world. If you face me in Japan or England, I'm going to beat you." Ooh. So hopefully we get another match.
We're getting that at Wrestle Kingdom, man. That's only 11, 12, 1. 3 months away.
3 months away. Or is Danielson going to take on Okada at Wrestle Kingdom?
Oh, man. Hey, is it 2 nights again, or is it back to 1 night?
No, I think it's probably just 1 night.
Boo. I don't know. They could, I guess, do it at. Well, I don't know. Remains to be seen, I guess. After that, we had a Swerve Hangman video package. We talked about this a little bit. Seemed like Hangman took this loss on the chin, wants to reevaluate, but we'll see if they revisit this sooner or later. Mm-hmm. A Switchblade MJF recap followed by Bullet Club Gold minus Cardblade or Jay White. Austin says, "Who's ready for some story time with Bang Bang Gang, baby? No, we didn't come out here to address the soft, brittle, injury-prone one. We came out to address the brown-haired kid about yay high, struts around with his belt, the one they call the devil. Colton says, oh, you mean the people's douchebag? I mean the people's scumbag, the one that calls himself a generational talent, yet spent 20 minutes last week, and the best he can come up with was tofu? He says, Max, the reason you jumped Jay was because you're scared. You know you're about to suffocate when you try to breathe with a switchblade. And Juice says, Friedman, get your ass down here. You got some splaining to do. Come on, you can wear your creepy little Halloween costume. If you're a man, you'll come out here and face us like one. That brings out MJF. He says, it appears the devil has arrived in Stockton, and we've got an interested trio in here.
Hold on a second. Isn't it weird to hear that Sacramento is an hour drive from Stockton?
Yeah, right, yeah.
And we don't get a whole lot of live wrestling television broadcasts from Stockton. WWE goes there usually for house shows. I don't know the last time they had Raw or whatever there. It's so, I don't know, it's strange to me. Not in a bad way, it's just different to hear a television wrestling broadcast say repeatedly they're emanating from Stockton, California.
Without trying to throw any shade at Stockton.
Absolutely.
It is weird. Yeah. They're the site of Sacramento's developmental basketball team, for example. It's not like it's, And I don't know. I don't know why they would run Stockton as opposed to coming back here. Maybe it's just it's a cost thing. Maybe it's cheaper to run in Stockton than Golden One.
I don't know.
That's my
Stockton
guess.
Arena is smaller than Golden One, yeah.
Well, and that could be why as well, because they're not drawing as big crowds. And if you're a big AEW fan in Sacramento, it's only an hour away. You're going to go.
Exactly. And maybe it's a situation where they don't want to hit the same market like they have on the East Coast and the South a lot too often. I know Stockton's part of the greater Sacramento metropolitan area, I think, for media area purposes. But still, it's an hour away, and then Modesto is just like another 45 minutes south of Stockton. So I
suspect if they were doing 10,000, they'd be running Golden One, but they're just not anymore, or they're just not right now. But no, it is kind of funny because Stockton is Stockton. Anyways, he says we got the Ass Boys and we've got their best friend, but Stockton. It's funny because this is stupid that I'm even bringing this up, but they could be if they're in SoCal. Yeah. They could be further away from actual LA and still refer to it than Stockton is to us, and still refer to it as LA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If they had run this show in Ontario, California.
Right, yeah, they'd call it LA. Yeah.
Which is further away from I don't know if it's further away than downtown LA. It might be. Mm-hmm. At least by car it is.
Yeah.
in terms of time.
Yeah.
And you can still say we're in the greater Los Angeles area, definitely.
Pretty much anything just generally SoCal is until you get to San Diego, which is way down there.
Yeah.
So anyways, he says, we got the Ass Boys. We got their best friend, Juice Robinson, a.k.a. Talentless Taint. He says, it's crazy. And then the guys start going. He says, it's crazy, Stockton, because I think right here we're about to have one of the loudest chants of all time. It goes, Ass Boys, Talentless Taint. So the crowd starts chanting, and Juice is just embracing it. He's rubbing his taint and showing it to everybody, and they're all saying it's rock hard. Yeah. So he says, Stockton, I'm magic. Isn't that nuts? I've done a lot of horrible things in my life, and since it's the 4th anniversary of Dynamite, thought it might be a good idea to list them off in Stockton. For starters, I threw Chris Jericho off top of a steel cage to his near death. I whipped Cody Rhodes 10 times with my belt. I gave several children dodgeball-related injuries. And my personal favorite, I almost got us kicked off TV when I called my boss an effing mark. So what I'm curious about Bullet Club Gold is what makes you think I wouldn't be as honest and open. He says, I'm honest about everything I've done in my past because I'm not just a scumbag. I'm their scumbag. It's interesting. I know for a fact I didn't attack your boy Jay White, a.k.a. Tofu. But if you don't want to talk it out like gentlemen, well, I've been hanging out here in Stockton. I like how folks here handle their business. So I got an idea. How about right here, right now, we have ourselves a Stockton street fight. MJF starts walking to ringside, takes off his scarf, his shirt, the AEW title, and gets in the ring. Bullet Club Gold leaves. Jay White hits MJF from behind with a Blade Runner. Jay picks up the AEW title, holds it over MJF, and then he puts it on his shoulder, and he leaves with Bullet Club Gold. They stand on the stage there, and Jay White gets a mic, cuts a promo from there, says, look, Max, I don't know what caliber of athlete you're used to dealing with, but I'm a cut above, and your cheap parlor tricks and games don't work here. He says, you got the best of me last week, but you're not fooling anybody. No one believes a single word that comes out of your scummy mouth. You saying it wasn't you might as well be a confession. Unlike everybody here, we used our brains. We know the real MJF. We know he's a dirty, pathetic liar. We know that MJF is a slimy, gutless coward, and we need a truly elite champion, one that lives up to the name Elite, and MJF, you're not him. So he challenges him for the title at Full Gear. And he says, you can try to prove that you're an elite champ and you'll fail, but don't worry, I'll take it from there. I'll lead by example, and I'm starting tonight. Till then, I got 2 words for you. Guns up. And then Max says, you want me at Full Gear? Oh, look, we get it. We got it down pretty good now. He says, you want me at Full Gear? I got 2 words for you. Suck it. You're on.
Gotta do the gun.
Says, oh, yeah.
Do the gun on the other side, though.
Oh, man.
After that, we had a Orange Cassidy and Hook interview. So Renee was like, oh, you were so close to earn that title opportunity at Wrestle Dream. And Orange says, yeah, we would have been great champions too. But I mean, Hook, he's still a great champion because he has a title. Hook's there eating a bag of Lay's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Hook says, you should be a great champion again too. Should be you next week instead of Mox against Phoenix. And Orange says, yeah, but Mox was like champs for 3 weeks and I was champ for 11 months. Whatever.
Doesn't he take like one of the what was he eating again? He was eating
Lay's.
Lay's,
a little bag of Lay's.
Yeah, I like this Orange Cassidy. I wish they'd like explored a little bit more. I don't know, give them some fucking vignettes. I'd actually like that Orange Cassidy and Hook and some vignettes.
I know.
Hook does have like immense charisma, just natural charisma.
Oh, he really does.
Like when he talks, like you could see him in a movie, like in a Kevin Smith movie or some shit like that.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
After that, we had Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. As kind of expected with Kyle Fletcher being drafted by the Callis family, he ended up taking the L here. It was both a code breaker and a one-winged angel. And then the pin. Callis talks some shit from the ramp to distract Kenny and Jericho. And then Powerhouse Hobbs, evidently the newest member of the Callis family, takes them out from behind, boots Kenny out of the ring, hits Jericho with a big spine buster, throws Kenny into the barricade and chucks him into the crowd, lays into Kenny with some strikes. Hobbs picks up a piece of guardrail, rips a chunk of it off, and slams it on Kenny and sticks his head between the rungs of the guardrail. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They take it back to the ring.
Yeah. Then they end up hitting Kenny with it. Yeah, so they wrap up Kenny in the ropes with some duct tape. Bang, big old chair shot.
Loosely.
It was supposed to be a bit more dramatic than it actually was when they went on close up. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, Callis hits Kenny over the head. Unprotected chair shot to the head.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that.
Things. Yeah. I was watching on Twitter. There's a clip I saw on Twitter from TNA. It was literally a week after WWF sort of made a deal about not doing unprotected chair shots anymore. No more headshots because
was that the one with Homicide in the clip? Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've seen some nasty chair shots. That might be one of the nastiest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
I mean, as chair shots go, not that I want to see it, but this wasn't that bad. I mean,
no, it wasn't Homicide bad. No, they go easy. Yeah, they go easy.
Yeah, he just kind of tapped him on the head. But
it's not exactly the Hulk Hogan one from WCW.
No, it was a little more behind it than that. Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah.
After that, we had the MJF interview in the trainer's room we talked about earlier, where Renee asked him about accepting Jay's challenge, and while she's asking the question, the Acclaim's walking in the background, and so Caster says to the trainer who's massaging MJF's shoulders, hey, I'll take it from here. And MJF's like, yeah, this would be an easier pill to swallow if Adam was here. And then he realizes that Caster's massaging his shoulders. He goes, what are you doing here? You're like a stalker. And so Caster's like, oh, hey, scissor me. And MJF goes, no, go away. And so the Acclaim leave, and MJF says, I can call Adam. And so he says, I can't do this anymore. So he calls. No answer, goes to voicemail. And he's just seething, mad.
As much of a pop as they get for like the kangaroo kick and the double clothesline, MJF.
The what? Sorry, the double what?
Liz.
Thank you.
MJF scissoring the Acclaimed is going to blow the fucking roof off.
You got that right.
That's going to be
scissor
good.
Me, MJF.
That's going to be good. Scissor me, Daddy Max. That's what it's going to be.
That could be it too. Yeah.
That's
pretty huge.
That's going to be fucking huge. After that, we had this really cool Samoa Joe promo. It could have been an ad for cigars or whiskey or what. I don't know what. But
or being an awesome badass.
Yeah, no, I don't know about if that's a sellable product, but If it was, Samoa Joe could sell it.
Samoa Joe, I'd buy it if Samoa Joe was selling it.
Yeah, man. So he's sitting there in a sick suit, some sort of nice lounge, like a very pricey looking lounge area.
It might be an airport lounge. I don't know. I've never been to one of those private airport lounges. Maybe one of them's really nice.
That could be. And I don't think this was Kenny Omega filming on his iPhone 6.
No, it looked better quality than that.
It did, yeah. He says, there's many aspects to being a champion, but the one thing that you can never truly replicate is the hunger to be a champion. I've been a champion myself many times over. In those championship reigns, I know what it means to be hungry and when to be satisfied. Now, the man that you look at before you is very satisfied, who has all the comforts of the world because he's been a champion everywhere he's ever been. But therein lies the problem. For me to be a champion, I need to be focused. For me to be a champion in this day and age, I need to regain that hunger. That's why I'm here today, to announce that I am focused. I should be AEW Heavyweight Champion. Granted, no matter how I feel about the outcome of my championship match, Max, you did earn my respect. Soon enough, you'll realize that when I'm hungry, I always manage to eat.
Great stuff.
Fat stogie in his hand.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it was nice.
Joe's the best. Joe's the best talker maybe ever. Anyways, we got Sky Blue versus Toni Storm next. Really fun match. Toni Storm just week after week adding new dimension to this character of hers. Now she's timeless. Mm-hmm. She's got the smeared makeup that we saw from the Portrait of a Star thing with RJ City.
Yeah,
it's got the close up bit in there.
Her outfit's a little bit different. It's just sort of more basic and old school looking.
Yeah. She's thrown a commercial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just a lot of really
check out one of these
stuff.
lovely advertises.
Yeah,
it's used to finance our program or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. It was great. She gets the win ultimately. Hits the German suplex, hip attack, and Storm Zero to get the W. I'd expect Toni Storm to get a lot more W's in the near future. She's doing tremendous work.
Also,
just a highlight of Dynamite or Collision, whatever show she's on.
During her entrance, Taz being so enraptured by her.
Yeah.
She maybe didn't have time to do a makeup. She's timeless. His voice got all soft. It was amazing.
It was pretty great.
It was really good.
Oh, it was so good. Then we got a Stokely Hathaway interview.
This was funny as hell.
Yeah, he's one of the members of the Ring of Honor board.
Yeah.
So this is after they already announced that there's a number one contender match on Rampage to determine Eddie Kingston's next challenger for the Ring of Honor title. So he says, I have breaking news. I couldn't say this on Sunday, Eddie, because you were so rude. But this Friday on Rampage, there'll be a four-way for the number one contendership for the Ring of Honor World title. And guess what, Eddie? You'll be there live doing commentary to see who's next in line. You'll be a champion that smells like Tom Ford, not Burger King in Newport. See you Friday.
And Renee started laughing.
Started laughing, I know.
not Burger King in Newports.
Oh, my gosh. Gosh darn it, I miss Stokely on cable television.
I know. AEW really does. I would actually love to do like a Friendo Club video with you where we look at how to make like the perfect AEW, because they honestly do have the ingredients. It's just there's certain things that just need to be shuffled aside for a bit, like Jericho. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, some of the stuff they're doing, they've been doing for so long, and they're not bringing anything new to it. And like, that's why I was not. Look, I know technically, it's a really good match, and it's a very AEW match. But Phoenix versus Nick Jackson, for example. Yeah. I mean, dude, we've seen matches like that a million times over.
I know.
And it's not really bringing it. But then they've got like acts like, the Acclaimed, which can just offer so much. Mm-hmm. MJF is doing amazing work. Christian's doing amazing work. You got Stokely, who should be on the board of directors of AEW. What a perfect general manager he would be.
I know.
For like one of the shows or all the shows or whatever. And it's like, if every segment had what Toni Storm brings to her segments, if every segment and every match had that new thing to it, had that like current vital thing, that's a word we use a lot, vital.
Yep.
If it all had that, like you could tell right now, the Kingdom and Roderick Strong, that's inspired stuff.
Yep.
They found something with that. And that's one thing about AEW is that I feel like they'll always, and maybe it's just because a section of their fan base will always want to see the Nick Jackson versus Phoenix type match, you know? And I get that. And maybe that's something that, and I don't, for all I know, it did really good in the rating quarter hour or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
And that's a staple of AEW. But it's like, man, if every minute of TV was filled, because I honestly think across all their programming on their roster, they have the ingredients for every segment to be absolutely killer. I really do think that.
Absolutely. I mean, especially people that are given the opportunity to develop their characters on TV. The ones who are featured regularly are really well developed.
Yeah.
And you know who they are.
Yeah.
And you start, putting, this well-known personality against this well-known personality we haven't seen before. Good things are going to happen.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I know. It seems like far too often they kind of fall back on the familiar. And you put Ray Phoenix and Nick Jackson out there, they're going to put on a phenomenal match.
Yeah.
It's just nothing necessarily new.
No, we've seen it, dude. We've seen that match.
Yeah.
A million times. And I'm not talking that specific matchup, but we have.
Yeah. They've had a match before.
But like, yeah, I feel like if they really loaded up everything with things that everybody will talk about, they could have a killer show. Like through and through from minute 1 to 120,
Absolutely. I mean, all the ingredients are there for arguably the best 2-hour wrestling program on television.
Yeah. It's like what I say with WWE these days. They have built their characters to such a degree and a lot of their feuds to such a degree that on Raw, yeah, sometimes they can get redundant with like, what they're doing, but their feuds are always very focused. And the characters are they all feel, not all, I'm not going to say all, to a large degree, a lot of their characters feel very fresh and you just want to watch them on TV. Kind of don't care what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Speaking of somebody fresh to AEW, Adam Copeland, he comes to the ring. He's got an interview with Tony Schiavone.
What a vital segue that was.
Oh, listen to that. So he says, Tony Schiavone, when I grew up, your voice was the soundtrack to my childhood. So to stand in the ring with you, pretty big deal for me. He says, but I love you, Tony. But it's my ring now, so hit the bricks. Continues. Says, let's rewind back to 2011. I'm told I can never do this again. But guys, we're in 2023. I'm standing in the AEW ring. There's quite a few reasons why I came here. There's one major one. I'll get to that last. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure the AEW title looked good around my waist. And he stares right in the camera for a moment with a really stern look on his face.
Yeah.
Very serious. There's a whole roster of first-time matches for Adam Copeland. Check it out. We're talking about first-ever matches. Adam Copeland versus Mox, Kenny Omega, Miro, Powerhouse Hobbs, Jay White, Juice Robinson. Those are just all of the amazing reasons to be here, to challenge myself 31 years into my career. Against someone who's brand new, and all of you are helping to make that happen. I said this before. I'm going to say it again. And that's going to be the last time I say it. The main reason I decided to come here to AEW is because I sat down with my family. I said to my girls, what's Dad do? Should I retire? And he says, but then Lyric, my 9-year-old, said, you should go have fun with Uncle Jay. So speaking of Uncle Jay, I'll call him what you call him, Christian Cage. So right now I like to call out Christian so I can tell him the real reason why I'm here. So first, no Christian. So Edge says, Jay, come on. Christian music hits. He comes to the ring, kind of circles around Adam Copeland and stands in front of him. And so Edge continues. For 40 years, you and I have been best friends before we were in this industry, but it was because of this industry that made us realize we were going to be best friends for life. I know what you're thinking. Why did I do what I did at Wrestle Dream? Well, I did. Why did I smash Nick Wayne? Why did I throw a chair at Luchasaurus's face and spear him? Why did I do those things? Well, it's quite simple. I see you standing here just like this. I see your face all pursed up, looking more like a dick than usual. And even though I know that about you, I still love you. And that's never going to go away, okay? But I saw you standing over Sting, a guy whose poster you took to the barber to put on the mirror so she would cut your hair in the same way as his. You had the box top with the lousy rat tail. I was Lex Luger. That was us. I see you standing over Sting, a man who has entertained people for over 4 decades, a man who has caused people to feel for 4 decades. A man, my wife's parents couldn't speak English, they're Polish, but they love Sting. So I can't stand here and watch you smash him with a concerto. And that's why I did what I did on Sunday. But I also did it because I know, and I'm speaking from experience here, that Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne are going to drop you like a bad habit as soon as they sucked all the information out of your brain. You're so egotistical you won't see it, but I'm here because it's time. It's time for the first time since 2011, for the first time properly in over 20 years. It's time for you and I to team together again, to face a team like FTR or like the Young Bucks, to show an entire generation of fans why we are inarguably one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So I'm out here asking you, let's do it. Let's end our careers together as a team. Let's show them what we can do. The crowd's chanting one more time. And Christian asks for the mic and holds it, but doesn't say anything yet. He looks at the TNT title, and then he extends his arms, saying, come on in, Adam Copeland. They hug, and they hug for a beat, and then Christian brings the mic to his mouth and says, just coldly, no emotion, go fuck yourself. Turns around and leaves.
Yeah.
So Copeland stands in the ring stunned. The crowd's chanting asshole towards Christian. He's standing on the ramp soaking it in, and then he continues. He says, before I go, just a quick reminder, Adam, of what you'll be up against next Tuesday live on Dynamite. So Luchasaurus music hits. He comes to the ramp with Nick Wayne. They both stand next to Christian as the show goes off the air.
Yeah. It was a really, really, really good segment.
Was really good. Yeah. It was really good.
Would you like to answer some questions, Larson?
Yeah. Hey, real quick, though. We got 605 people over here watching on the YouTube. Apparently, Twitch just crapped out. Apologies for that. So if you're watching here on the YouTube, give this video a like. If you haven't subbed, please sub. We want to get 198,891 subscribers.
Love that subscribe button.
Imagine we get that by the end of the year.
Oh, my gosh.
You'd have a 198,891 subscriber party. How about that?
Oh, dude, absolutely. Like a 24-hour stream? Is that what we're talking
about?
No,
we'll stream for 198,891 seconds.
198,891 divided by 60 seconds is 3,314 minutes. Divided by 60 minutes in an hour is, in fact, 55 hours.
Okay, we won't do that.
Okay.
We'll do that over the course of a week. Not
maybe like 198,000 nanoseconds.
There we go. That's
good. Nanosecond is, though.
So they divide that by 1,000, right?
Is that 1,000?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. There you go.
Is it a millisecond? Yeah, that'd be
it's like a 5-minute stream.
Yeah, that's good. That works.
A very intense 5-minute stream.
Yes, exactly. It'd be the most intense 5-minute stream we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It'd be one race on straightaway in GTA.
There you go. Perfect. Kiddo Hudson says, in the future, years after the end of Going In Raw, you guys finally reunited. What would you say to each other after embracing a hug?
Who farted?
And I would just respond, it was me.
Uh-huh.
But I shit my pants. Because it's way in the future, and I'm already like borderline.
You'd be
incontinent.
Yeah.
I'm on the road to incontinence, man. Yeah.
Oh, I should keep that in mind when we play.
I was out there on the basketball court today, like just shooting around.
Almost full soil.
Almost came so
almost
close.
Full soil.
Yeah, I had to run home with my hand on my butt. Carlos Diaz says, "What are some
car? Why don't you drive home?
You
afraid of like on your car seat?
It's a nice car. It's like a 2019.
Yeah, it's relatively new. Yeah,
it's a good car.
It's true.
Don't want to shit in my car. Carlos Diaz says, what are some of your favorite moments that in hindsight you found kind of tone deaf but remain endearing to you? He says this, I've always loved Pillman Has a Gun and Big Show's dad's funeral. I've never felt the gun in the funeral were tone deaf. I thought those were always great.
There's a lot of stuff from the Attitude Era at the time. I was like, wow, this is really good. This is good TV. And I watch it back. I'm like, oh, this is.
Yeah, but what's one that's like the opposite of that? That's like, oh, this is off-putting, but I still like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the question.
Gosh.
So, I'm trying to find one that won't get us canceled that I can admit to.
All right. I kind of feel like all the stuff back then or that I've watched, I was like, it's kind of off-putting. It's off-putting enough for me to be like,
yeah,
do it for me.
No, I'll just completely honestly, like for example, I think so. Like back then, I didn't quite take in the severity of DX doing the blackface thing.
Ooh.
Now it's like, oh my God, I can't believe they fucking did that. That's what the hell were they thinking? So I don't there isn't really much back then that I was like, oh, this is so cool. He's being homophobic. I was like, oh, okay. And now I'm like, oh my God, he can't do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Maggie says, just say the live sex show. The live sex show now, I just find absolutely hilarious. And I feel bad because I think Lita and Edge both publicly said they were uncomfortable about it. But I think Edge has said some, like, he has like a decent sense of humor about it at least.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that because I know something out there does exist.
Yeah, I'm sure it does for me too, but I just can't think what it is.
Yeah.
Blake Whitehouse says you walked out and saw someone had flattened your car like Goldberg did Sid's.
Yeah.
What would your reaction be, and who would you blame first? Hilton.
Wow. Hilton.
Blame
if
Hilton.
it was your car, I would blame Hilton. I would say, oh yeah, Hilton totally did this. I'd be
shocked.
That's
you. Yes, you've thrown blame into Hilton's way because you probably did it.
Oh, that's possible. You know what I just realized? I found one. Scott Steiner being misogynistic.
Okay.
Because he's so cartoonish about it. He's not even like a real person.
No.
He's just this throbbing erection of a person.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, and then he like just goes off on Ric Flair when he's not even in a feud with him.
Yeah.
You know, and him talking about, I'm like, bro, come on. We all know that you're so roided out that there's not a lot going on down there.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you talking about hitting up all these freaks, you're probably like a 3-minute guy and they probably don't feel much at that. You know what I mean? That's why it's funny though, is because like that dude, he's just a mess. So what are you talking about? You know, I got my freaks, man. You know, that shit was hilarious. So yeah. And then if you ever watch his workout tape, oh my God, it's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Because he's like bench pressing women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what? Like they're like 115 pounds. That's not impressive.
Yeah. Yellow Flash here says, how would you rate MJF's current world title reign?
Oh.
It's definitely picked up since the Adam Cole story started.
Absolutely. Yeah. Lately with the Ring of Honor tag titles, I feel like it's taken a bit of a step back because like he didn't defend his title at Wrestle Dream.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
That's a little weird. Dave Matushek, with issues at TBS involving either production or sound messing up, what other blunders in the production truck in any promotion do you want to see get quashed in the years to come? What other production truck blunders? I don't know.
WWE seems to run a pretty tight ship over there. They don't have a lot of mess ups. They just could stop pumping in crowd audio.
Yeah.
Otherwise. Whereas Impact probably should start pumping in crowd audio, especially if Bob Fish is on camera.
The WWE, yeah. They pumped in that one guy saying CM Punk. No, I know what it is. It's the it's the blunder of the Performance Center crowd.
Yes.
Get rid of them. Like if you need to CG that crowd, do it. But like they're not good.
Well, they tried to. They did have the animated crowd above the actual crowd. Remember that?
Yeah, I know. They still have
LED
that.
Boards.
You know, I didn't even mention the other day when we were talking about that. They started chanting when Carmelo came out. They started chanting "Mellow Mist."
It's just rude.
I know. It's horrible.
Mello's him.
He is
Show
him.
respect.
Yeah.
Gosh.
They're fickle. They're like exactly what Planet's Champion was talking about.
I know.
They're super fickle.
They are super fickle. Timor here says, have you attended a show where a 5-star or more match rated by those other guys occurred? And if not, what's the highest rated match you've seen as rated by those other guys? So we were there for Young Bucks versus Golden Lovers in Long Beach. I think that was a 5-star match.
True. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
We've seen that. We were there for Cena and AJ at SummerSlam 2016. I don't think they got 5 stars, but it was close.
I was there for Angle and Shawn Michaels. I didn't get 5, but it got close, I think.
Yeah.
Did All In have any 5-star matches?
Maybe Okada's match was close.
Okada was with Skrull. It
Yeah.
was a really good match.
It was a really good match.
I mean, I don't like saying that about Marty Skrull, but it was a really
I know.
good
That's why I didn't
match.
mention his name.
You said with redacted. Yeah.
Well, Double or Nothing. The first Double or Nothing, Cody and Dustin. I don't know if I got 5 stars, but it was probably close.
I think it did.
Yeah, that's probably the ones, the top ones I could think of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've been there for 5-star matches. Let's see here. Jay and Cody. Mr. Milo Otis says, do you think it's possible that Jay and Cody win the tag titles? At this point, I do not.
No.
I do not.
Once Dom got the North American title back, it kind of cemented that Judgment Day was probably going to retain those tag titles.
True World Order has a right. What you should have said was Okada in singles action. I miss those days in the WWE Network. It's like, whoa, singles action. What did that guy do? And it was either Benoit or who was that guy in the ECW?
Oh,
the Rockin' Rebel.
Yeah, Rockin' Rebel.
Singles action.
Johnny Knight moves.
Great name.
Says, how do you go about putting the AEW World title on Edge? Here's the catch. He has to beat Christian for it. Christian drops the TNT title to Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
So then he has that void. He needs to be a mentor. And to be the mentor he wants to be, he has to be champion for Nick Wayne. And so he sets his sight on the AEW World title. He beats MJF for it because Adam Cole lets MJF down.
Okay.
Christian's your world champion.
Yeah.
And Ed says, now is the time to really teach Christian a lesson. That you can't be a piece of shit like this and really succeed on your own terms.
Yeah.
So he beats him for the world title, thinking that Christian will have the epiphany that, I got to, my best friend just beat me. Now I should team up with him. Instead, that doesn't work, and Christian just goes off on him.
How about this? That's a really good one. I like that. That's really good. Christian was the man under the mask.
Okay.
Here's the twist. Even though contractually speaking, it was impossible, one of the other guys doing the beatdown was in fact Edge. But that's not revealed until it's revealed that Christian was the guy under the mask, and MJF is like, you've been framing me this whole time. Everybody thinks it was me after he's already beat Jay White. So match happens, and then Edge comes down because Christian's trying to cheat, and everybody's like, oh, Edge is trying to keep him on the straight and narrow. Nah. Turns out that, and then like they show like some footage from after the Jay White incident, and Edge is one of the guys taking the ski mask off. Oh
yeah.
But then Edge turns on him because he's like, I want that title.
He just did all that so he can get it closer to Christian, so he can get that title opportunity.
The ultimate opportunist. Yep.
Alex Foster here says, Jay White has called you into the Bang Bang Gang locker room. What were you guys doing when he was attacked?
I mean, look, man, everybody knows my position in AEW, catering, hanging out with Eddie Kingston, the Ring of Honor New Japan Strong Champion. He's like
chatting over some Reese's pie, right?
Yeah, and also some original chicken sandwich long boys from Burger King, and
a couple of Newports.
And a couple of Newports. Stokely was telling no lies.
No. Man, catering is good. It's hard to top that one.
So Dynamite, White Brownie's got the numbers. NXT wins again. Dynamite at 800,000 with a .28.
Only 800,000. Wow. Yeesh.
Momentum in NXT's favor going into next week.
Firmly.
Title
Man,
Tuesday.
NXT's going to squash AEW at this rate.
Ooh, you think it's going to be a jobber type situation? AEW's going to get the jobber entrance?
Night from AEW, yeah.
That could be.
All right, what's your prediction? What the number is going to be for next week? Does NXT get 1 million?
Bold prediction: NXT gets 1 million. Yeah, they do but like just over 1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about AEW?
750.
Okay. I'll say NXT just under 1 million.
Okay.
Like 975.
Okay. All right.
Just under.
Okay.
AEW. It's a different night. Stiff competition. 480,000.
480,000.
No, they'll probably do like 760 or something like that.
Let's see here. Oh, here we go. I love this question about this question. A couple of people are asking us, we're going to cover NXT. Now, I think like on a one-off deal, we can cover NXT next week.
Maybe next week we should find a way to watch both shows. Maybe one of us should watch NXT and the other one should watch AEW.
Ugh. Here's the thing. That sounds good in theory.
Yeah, I know it does, but in practice the other person is going to be completely fucking lost. I know.
It's going to be it'll make for two boring shows.
I know. The person who watched NXT explain what happened, the other person just be like, oh,
interesting.
That's cool.
Okay, yeah, I'm sitting here on my fucking phone the whole time. No, I think we could do a special big episode on Wednesday. I don't know. Do we have ads next week?
Yeah,
because that always sort of complicates things a little bit, anyways.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. We'll think about it.
We'll think about it. I
mean, if there's any NXT to review next week, might be it because it's so loaded.
Well, that's the exclusively. Like it would be that week. It would be that week.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do a thing. Hey, we could do. Well, we're not going to know until like the next day at 1. I was going to say winner gets reviewed first. So NXT, we just review NXT first.
Yeah, just set up so review NXT.
Yeah.
Luis here asked, apart from "Go fuck yourself," what are some of the best lines on AEW? Redeem D's nuts.
Redeem D's nuts. Not somebody who smells like Newports and Burger King. I know Miro's had like some really good.
Tons of really good lines.
Oh, dude, no, nothing beats Brody King's thirst trap line.
Oh gosh, that was so good.
What kind of man would sit there while his wife posts thirst traps on Instagram? Oh, Brody Lee was the best.
Brody Lee, yeah, that was so good.
He was the absolute best.
Gosh, that was good.
God, that was good. And then Cody came back with like dark hair. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was a Superman Returns thing.
Yeah.
That went over everybody's head.
Him and his weird, right? He was really trying some shit there, man. Like coming out in Star Trek uniforms? That would never fly in the Federation.
Nope. No, I mean the WWE.
See what I did
Federation,
there?
You gotta wear them in the
see
Federation.
What I did there?
Yes. You gotta wear them in the Federation.
It wasn't. I didn't realize it was clever until it left my mouth. The Blind Mask says, I love these questions about tribalism. God damn it.
Feed into it.
Damn.
Prepare everybody.
Blind Mask says, why are tribal AEW WWE fans so critical of each other and the quality of the shows and matches, but then lose their minds when a wrestler from one of the companies jump to the other? Because God damn it.
I don't know. My philosophy is always support the wrestlers, not the companies they work for.
Yeah, like I don't give a shit. I don't know. I don't know because I'm not one of them. I'm not.
No, I don't know either.
I know people think we're e-drones, but
no, we watch. We praise wrestling we like, and we're critical of wrestling that we take issue with. And that's all it comes down to.
Heather says, I like dark-haired Cody. I wish he had kept it a bit longer. I wish you meant that. I wish he had kept it, like actually grew it longer.
Oh, grew it out long, like Superman, where he had the mullet when he came back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
If he wanted Cody to go all the way with it.
Exactly.
Cody with the Superman mullet.
Yeah, that's what he should have done.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
That's what he should have done.
That's all the questions I have over here on the YouTube.
I think we covered everything either in the questions or on the recap.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Tomorrow we got a count out. And then, of course, on Saturday, we'll see you guys for WWE Life in the Fast Lane.
Oh, busting out some eagles there, huh?
Yeah, man. Life in the Fast Lane.
Probably make you lose your mind.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Till next time, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.